Welcome to video 2 for this unit on proportional relationships and percentages. In this video, we're going to focus on percent increase and decrease. Imagine that it takes Andre 3/4 more than the time it takes Jada to get to school. Then we know that Andre's time is 1 3/4 or 1.75 times Jada's time. We can also describe this in terms of percentages. We say that Andre's time is 75% more than Jada's time. We can also see that Andre's time is 175% of Jada's time. In general, the terms percent increase and percent decrease describe an increase or decrease in a quantity as a percentage of the starting amount. Here, the starting amount is the time it takes Jada to get to school. A percentage increase tells how much a quantity went up expressed as a percentage of the starting amount. For example, Elena had $50 in the bank on Monday. She had $56 on Tuesday. The amount went up by $6. This was a 12% increase because 6 is 12% of 50. A percentage decrease tells how much a quantity went down, expressed as a percentage of the starting amount. For example, a store had 64 hats in stock on Friday. They had 48 hats left on Saturday. The amount went down by 16. This was a 25% decrease because 16 is 25% of 64. Notice how in both cases, we started with the quantity that corresponds to 100%. Let's try an example. Suppose that there were 500 grams of cereal in the original package. The new package has 20% more cereal. This means that 20% of 500 grams has been added to the initial amount. 500 plus 0.2 multiplied by 500 equals 500 plus 100, which is equal to 600. This means that there are 600 grams of cereal in the new package. We can say that the new amount of 600 grams is 120% of the initial amount, 500 grams, because 500 plus 0.2 multiplied by 500 equals the quantity 1 plus 0.2 multiplied by 500. Notice, using decimals, we have 1 plus 0.2 equals 1.2, or equivalently, 100% plus 20% equals 120%. Another way to show a percent increase is using a double number line diagram. The initial amount of cereal is 500 grams, which is lined up with 100% in the diagram. We can find a 20% increase to 500 by adding 20% of the 500 grams. 500 plus 0.2 multiplied by 500 equals 1.2 multiplied by 500, which equals 600. In the diagram, we can see that 600 corresponds to 120%. We can also use a double number line diagram to show information about percent decrease. If the initial amount of 500 grams is decreased by 40%, we can find how much cereal there is by subtracting 40% of the 500 grams. 500 minus 0.4 multiplied by 500 equals 0.6 multiplied by 500, which equals 300. So a 40% decrease is the same as 60% of the initial amount. In the diagram, we can see that 300 is lined up with 60%. Lastly, we can use equations to express percent increase and decrease. For example, if y is 15% more than x, we can represent this using any of these equations. Y equals x plus 0.15x. Y equals the quantity 1 plus 0.15 multiplied by x. Y equals 1.15x. We can use equations to express percent decrease. Here is another example. If A is 7% less than B, we can represent this using any of these equations. A equals B minus 0.07B. A equals the quantity 1 minus 0.07 multiplied by B. A equals 0.93B. Thank you for watching video 2 of 4 for this unit on proportional relationships and percentages.